But welcome everybody to the Mary Hyatt Show. I am thrilled that you are spending some time with me on this beautiful Wednesday. I am your host, Mary Hyatt, and maybe this is your first time on the show. Maybe you've never hung out with me on a Wednesday before, so let me just take a quick second to introduce myself. But I am a life coach, an entrepreneur, and a presidential diamond with doTERRA essential oils. And my heart, my passion, what gets me up in the morning, what keeps me sustained throughout the day, is really helping women wake up, find their voice, and become fully alive. And so every week on the Facebook show, we talk about authenticity, vulnerability. I am a body love advocate, so I really am always focusing on making peace with the mirror and making peace with your food, and really coming to a place where you love and accept your body more and more every single day. But without further ado, let's start the show. I'm so glad that you guys are here, and today's show is all about self-care through the holidays. And so I don't know about you guys, but I have had just a moment of vulnerability. I have had probably the hardest 2 weeks that I have had all year, honestly. And I don't know about you, but I feel like, 2017 seems to be wrapping up kind of in the same way that the whole year has just kind of in line with the whole year, the intensity that we've been feeling all year. And I know that for me, I just keep thinking to myself, I'm like, please, no more. I cannot take any more. I can't handle anything else. And I still seem to be being thrown a lot. And truthfully, I have been downright exhausted. Has anybody else felt that way? That this end of the year has just been a lot. I've just been exhausted. I just moved into a brand new house 2 weeks ago and got everything moved in, and that was crazy. And then 2 days after I move in, I fly to Santa Fe, where I hosted a retreat for my top 6 doTERRA leaders. It was great. It was emotional. It was beautiful. But it was a lot going on, and got home. Of course, it's the holiday season, and it's just been an emotional roller coaster, honestly, for me, for a lot of old stuff that has been coming up. And I feel like there have been many days in the past couple weeks where I feel like I have been just holding on, truly, and questioning the things that I have felt most secure in. And a lot of my fears have risen to the surface as I sort of look back on this past year, on 2017. I just feel like a lot of that growth feels like it might be in jeopardy. A lot of these, kind of voices that are coming in, those fear voices are coming in and saying oh my God, it was all for nothing. And it wasn't really that great of a year after all. And you better protect yourself because the rug's going to be pulled out from under you. And all this good doesn't really exist, and you're not really strong enough. All those kind of bullying fear voices that it's kind of left me feeling like, man, I just need to give up before the new year. I'm done. I'm spent. I'm over it. All the old anxieties, all the old wounds have resurfaced. And, for me, on so many levels, it's just been gut punch after gut punch after gut punch. And I have felt like I've been very kind of almost emotionally in over my head. Elizabeth, you're completely agree. Intense times. Yeah, totally. Who else is with me? And I feel like this has been a gift also, because my work in all of this crazy and all of this stuff that is coming up and resurfacing and challenging during this holiday season is ultimately an opportunity for me to work on grounding and to admit ultimately that all of the amazing, all of the beauty, it truly is far from perfect, and that it's hard, and that's okay. That it's part kind of our human experience, and it's okay to be human. Like, that's been my mantra over and over again. Like, it's okay to be human. It's okay to be overwhelmed. It's okay to be stressed. It's okay to be grieving. And my job ultimately is really to remind myself that now is the time to be really gentle with myself, to ask myself what it is that I need, and to anchor myself and really nurture myself during this season, to rest when I need to rest, to take a break when I need to take a break, to have a drink when I need to have a drink, to cry when I need to cry, to call a friend when I need to call a friend, to reach out, and ultimately offer myself a lot of grace and a lot of compassion, because who else can give me a little thumbs up and some hearts? That adulting, y'all, is not easy. Adulting is not easy. Moving into this house, sorry, I'm changing my chair here. Moving into this house, oh my God, it's like all the things that you have to take care of. And it's just, being an adult is hard. And I don't know that it ever really gets easier, But one thing that I have learned through this process is it does not help to throw on shame to the whole scenario. And the truth is, for women especially, we are in a culture that thrives on burnout. We push ourselves so hard, and oftentimes, we are the last one on the list. We give out everything to everybody else. We say yes to everything and everyone. And we step back and there's nothing left for ourselves. So we are feeling depleted. Sometimes we're feeling resentful. We start blaming other people. We're just getting the scraps. And then, of course, because our culture tells us to do this, we throw on that guilt on top of it, where we feel like we still haven't even done enough, even though what else would we give? We're so exhausted, and somehow that's still not good enough. And I know that we are not alone in this. Tracy, you're totally. I know this because I get to hear this from my clients all the time. And I wrote down some things that they say, and I want to know if this resonates with you guys. But things that I've been hearing them say is they'll say, I feel like I should have done more this year. Or why can't I stay on my diet, during the holiday season? Or another Christmas where I'm heavier than last year. Or I feel just sad and defeated about it all. I should have lost that baby weight. Or, what's wrong with me? I had somebody say, another year that everyone in the family looks beautiful and I feel exposed, gross, and vulnerable. That's real talk. That is real life. And I had somebody else say, I feel so embarrassed. Of course, so I do my usual. I drink too much. I talk too much to compensate. I just feel horrible. And then there's been a lot of stress around pictures that I've been hearing about, of the family pictures or the holiday photos, and just people feeling no matter if they fix their hair or they get a new outfit, they really just feel all of this embarrassment and shame about their bodies, and they hate what they see in the photos. And you guys are saying, Jennifer, you're I totally agree. Alma, you're saying, yes, you're exhausted. You're so tired. And anytime all of this comes up, for you guys, for my clients, for myself, this is when I think to myself, in this moment, all we need is to be held. Y'all, we're little babies. We are just little babies that need to be comforted, that need to be reassured that everything is going to be okay, that we are okay, that, we aren't royal screw-ups. Maybe your family paints you that way, but that you're not a royal screw-up, and that you are still loved, that you are still loved, that ultimately that's really what we need to hear from ourselves, that hey, sweetie, you're doing a great job. You're okay. You are still loved, even if you are heavier than last year, even if you hate the way you look in the mirror, even if you have all this stuff coming up, you are still loved. And this is a time, and I want to encourage you, that we need more gentleness. We need some actual, real self-care. And not just chocolate, not just bubble baths, not just buying ourselves flowers, although I love all those things and I do them on the regular, but we actually need real nurturing. And we need to remember our strength. We need to give ourselves permission to be human. And I know, and let me know if this is true for y'all. Naomi, you're saying yes, amen to more gentleness. But I want to know from you guys, like, do you ever get hit with this like internal dialogue or guilt that self-care is selfish? That if you give yourself some time, if you give yourself attention, that's being selfish, that there's somebody out there that like needs you and their needs are more important than your own. This, belief that tenderness towards ourselves is weak or selfish, and that we need to be able to do everything for everybody and get everything done. We're supposed to be superwoman. We're supposed to be able to keep up with all of it. All of that is a lie. All of that is a lie. I mean, you guys know this. I've preached this all the time, but this idea that you can't love and serve from an empty cup. You can't be there for people when you are exhausted and burnt out. And when we're in the cycle of burnout, when we are in the cycle, what happens is that we are so depleted that not only are we not being able to give people what they need, we're not able to show up for other people, we are sacrificing ourselves in the process, and we are even like, oh my God, we're just at the bottom of the list, and it's like we just let people run over us over and over again. And that's not a way to love and serve people. It's like a really shitty way to love and serve people. It's like giving them your scraps, and so we have to take care of ourselves and offer that tenderness. Gayleen, you said, yep, I hear myself saying that self-care is frivolous. Yes, totally. I mean, that's so common to feel like it's not a necessity, that self-care is a luxury. And the truth is, it might be the most important thing that you can do that will alter your life over anything else. And so that's what we're going to be talking about. And I want to kind of define what self-care actually means, because we throw out this term, but we are talking about maybe different things. So what is self-care? And I want to talk about maybe first what self-care is not. So let's start there. So self-care is not another way to numb or check out of a life that you hate. So if you are drinking a glass of wine, or taking a bath, or eating chocolate, or doing any of these things as an escape of feeling miserable, that isn't actually self-care. That's like damage control. That is like, I am so burnt out, I'm so at my end, I need to numb quickly so that I don't feel the pain of the exhaustion. And unfortunately, that just buries us deeper into the deficit, because it's actually not giving ourselves what we truly need. It's like a Band-Aid. And so when I hear women talk about all this self-care and lighting candles and getting your Epsom salt baths and, buying yourself a gift, I'm like, that is like not the solution for what our souls are aching for, which is that love and tenderness and kindness and care. And I love this quote. It's a long one, so bear with me. But I love this quote from Emil Niazi. We're just going to pretend that's how you say it. She says, the act of self-care has become yet another thing women are expected to be good at. Did you use the right filter for that gran of your impeccably prepared acai bowl? Are the candles you're just lit in your Snapchat story made from organic hand-poured soy? Or are they that mass-produced factory shit? And how can we stem the inevitable capitalist tide from turning something as simple as self-care into yet another thing to be bought and sold? These are all the things I wrestle with as I order Domino's in sweatpants under the guise of being good to myself. Woo! I mean, that's like, I'm like, preach it, sister. Like, that's what we're under. It's like another thing to be good at. It's another to-do list. It's another like ritual that we have to put on our to-do list of having good self-care, and it's got to be all organic, and it's got to be all beautiful and Pinterest worthy. And like, oh my God, are we exhausted? Like, can we please like raise the white flag and say, I am done. I can't do any more of this. And ask ourselves what it is that we truly, truly need. Because self-care isn't just about treating yourself, which is actually interesting. I didn't think about this till right now, but the whole idea like treats, like you treat yourself, you go get a pedicure or whatever. And let me just say, love a good pedicure. Okay. Get one all the time. But this idea of treat yourself, it's almost like, triage. If you think about that word treat, like we think of it like pleasure, like a treat, but it's really like treat, like triage. Like you're in such a state of out of alignment, disharmony, that we have to like give ourselves that treat. Like we have to treat the wound, and we put a Band-Aid over it. And so it's not just about buying new stuff or binging on Netflix or whatever so that the rest of your life is tolerable and so that you get to escape. It's not a temporary fix just to get you through. Here is what I believe real self-care looks like. Self-care to me is about making the hard decisions that nurture your soul in a way that eventually creates a life that you love. Okay, so at the end of the day, self-care, I would define it as being a really good parent to yourself. It's about making choices that you choose for yourself that give you the life that you really love versus feeling like you are constantly having to run from it or escape from it or numb from it. It's about taking care of yourself, your emotional self, your physical self, your mental self, your spiritual self. It's about that whole self, taking care, nurturing, making some of those hard decisions, not just, numbing out from a hard day. It's truly taking care, taking care of yourself. It's tending to the soul. It's like saying to that little girl in yourself that's feeling like so overwhelmed and so afraid that like, let me give you what you really need. Let me meet you in your fear. Let me hold on to you. Let me show you tenderness and kindness and grace and empathy and compassion. And like, let's deal with what's going on for the long-term wellness. Anybody like, can I have some like thumbs up? Can I have some hearts? Hearts for that? I want to know if this is resonating. Tracy said, simplicity and no noise, journaling to help me see what I want out of life. As a mom, I've always been there for everyone without even knowing what I want or need. Yeah, even taking the time to ask ourselves what we need is self-care. Slowing down if that overwhelm to say, hang on a second, what do I need? And thank you guys for your hearts and your thumbs up. Thank you. Okay, so this is what I really think it boils down to. It means being the hero of your life, not the victim. It means rewiring what you have until your everyday life isn't something you need therapy to recover from. It is no longer choosing a life that looks good over a life that feels good. It is giving the hell up on some goals so you can care about others. It is being honest if that means you aren't universally liked. It is meeting your own needs so you aren't anxious and dependent on other people. Rachel Hayes, you said, little heart, thank you for that. Think about that. It's about being the hero of your life and not the victim, where you aren't so depleted that then you're dependent and codependent on everybody else to meet your needs and make you feel loved and make you feel important, that you do that work yourself, that you tend to your own soul yourself. And there's no more important time to do this than right now when it feels so crazy and we think, oh my God, we don't have any time for this. But it might look like in this holiday season, it might look like setting some boundaries. It might look like saying no. It might look like disappointing people. Good self-care sometimes looks like letting yourself be human, having a messy house, having dirty dishes in your sink. Sometimes it means going to bed early versus sedating yourself with more Netflix or more wine. It might mean, which I'm do quite often, letting yourself be in the moment of your emotions and cry in the car, even if that means you can't go into the event that you're right out in front of. That's good self-care. It's like tending to the soul. It's nurturing. Like, what I need right now is just to cry. And I don't need to perform and go into that party right now. Sometimes it means letting yourself skip a workout and sleep in because you're tired. Maybe it means sometimes having a cookie and enjoying it. Maybe it means having a salad because you've had a lot of cookies. Maybe it means giving yourself permission to have a glass of wine. I mean, there's no right or wrong in what the self-care looks like, but it's slowing down to ask yourself what it is that you ultimately need. What does your soul need in this time when you're feeling exhausted? And just like a little kid, this is like the good parent part, just like a little kid, if they're overwhelmed, you're not like, get it together, suck it up, like you have to do this or that, or here, why don't you eat 12 cookies, that'll make you feel better. No, it's like, sweetie, what do you really need? Like, do you need to go to sleep? Do you need to say no? Do we need to cancel some appointments? Like, what do you really need? Do you need to have some healthy boundaries so that you're not feeling taken advantage over? But self-care is vitally important during the holidays because let's be honest, the holiday season is breeding ground to be super overwhelmed. There's a lot of grief. I don't know about you guys, but coming from a divorce, and it's been several years now, but there is still grief over that. There is grief over deaths. There is grief over the perfect picture that you had in your mind not coming to be. The grief of that, the grief of relationships that are not quite where you want them to be. There's a lot of emotional stuff that's being kicked up right now in the holiday seasons. There's a lot of loneliness. Of course, there's a lot of stress, but there's a lot of pressure too. There's a lot of pressure to perform. There's a lot of pressure to be at your best, to just be out there and, oh yeah, Christmas card. This is the Christmas card, Mary. And it's like, not actually. It's not where I'm at in this moment of my life, And then we have all these fears about our inadequacies and are we enough? And oftentimes that's leaving us feeling really paralyzed. And this, of course, is not what I want for anybody during the holiday season. This is not what I want for myself during the holiday season. And, I don't want anybody to feel like this self-care has to be yet another to-do list or something we have to feel guilty about that we're not doing perfectly. Or I don't also want people to have to creatively come up with ways to numb just to survive the holidays. Like, that's no fun. I want us instead to take real, tender care of ourselves. Real, tender, nurturing care of ourselves. Jennifer, you said that I needed this so much today. This live is an answered prayer. Thank you, Mary. You're so welcome. Oh, I love hearing that. And this is what it's about. It's about coming together so that we can cultivate this kind of care for ourselves collectively as a group of people who are movers and shakers and doing all this stuff. Like, I know each of you on here have a lot going on. And I know I shared what I've got going on, but I don't for a second think that I'm the only one, or else I wouldn't be talking about this. We're right in the midst of closing out our year when the pressure to say yes is stronger than ever. When the fear of all of our inadequacies are really breathing down our necks, something fierce. When we look into the mirror and there's all this hate and shame about our bodies, when our family stuff is triggering us on every level, when our, body bully comes out of the woodworks to remind us about our, flawed body, when diet culture is screaming at us that we need to get on the next diet and we have to have a new you and to reset and, fix ourselves because we're broken. We've got all this coming in from behind the scenes. And so we need care. The kind of care that we can only give ourselves, the kind of care that will set us up for a more fulfilling 2018, the kind of care that gives us our power back so we move out of being a victim and into an empowered state, the kind of care that reminds us to be present in the way that we choose to be present. That is what we need. And so I'm excited. I know I said I had this announcement. I'm so excited because I want to invite you guys to participate in a 5-day holiday self-care challenge that I am doing. And we're starting this Friday, December 15th. So this Friday, and it goes to Tuesday, December 19th. And this is totally free. This is something that I honestly need for myself. And I thought, well, hell, if I'm going to do it, you should do it too with me. Because honestly, I don't want to feel alone in it. It can feel super isolating when we're trying to make healthy decisions for ourselves, and there's a lot of dysfunction around us, or there's a lot of toxicity around us. And so I just want to invite you to participate with this in this challenge with me, because I'm going to be obviously doing, and it's not going to be another thing for your to-do list, because Lord knows nobody has time for that. It's not going to be a traditional tonight take a bubble bath. It's not going to be a traditional kind of self-care kind of challenge. It's not going to take any more time other than you checking on Facebook what the daily challenge is, but it's just a way for me to help support you guys and keep myself accountable, honestly, through the holiday season, to give you the permission to take care of yourself, to be a good parent to yourself, so that you don't just have to cope through the holidays feeling exhausted or hating yourself or hating your body, or just kind of to grit your teeth and power through it. Jennifer, you're I pledge in taking part in this fully. Sign me up. Awesome. Yes. I just love it. I want to see how we can shift this, how it can be better, and so that maybe we're less triggered during this time. Maybe we feel more empowered to be present and less stressed. And so what we're doing, here's kind of how it works. So you're obviously just follow the link. I have it up here in the little description of the video. Just follow that link, because it's going to be a Facebook group, which is awesome. And so basically every day for the next 5 days, starting on Friday, I am going to hop in the Facebook group. I already have 300 people in there, so you'll be well received in our group. But I'm going to offer a daily challenge for your taking care, your self-care, and to really give yourself that more, grace, more love, more empathy, a lot of gentleness as you navigate the holiday season. And the cool thing is I'm going to also be doing some giveaways inside of the group too, just as kind of my give back. I'm going to be giving away some of my favorite books that are all kind of centered around what it looks like to become more fully alive in who we are. And I'm going to offer some essential oil blends too as giveaways. But the purpose of this is to encourage you and to stand with you this holiday season in really taking that care, taking a stand to take care of ourselves, to ask ourselves what it is that we need, to give ourselves permission to say no, whatever that looks like. And so that's my invitation to you to become part of this 5-day holiday self-care challenge right here on Facebook, because I want to come alongside of you and be a good parent to myself alongside of you. And again, that link is just right up there. You can grab it even in the comments. You can grab the link to join the group. And I'm excited for this. I really am excited to see what it looks like to do the holiday season a little bit differently with the help of you guys, and pausing and slowing down and nurturing and taking care of ourselves. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. I cannot wait to see you inside of the Facebook group. And I will also see you next Wednesday on the Facebook Live show. We're going to get even deeper into some of these topics. So make sure you mark it on your calendar for 1 o'clock Central Time next Wednesday. But until then, just remember that the purpose of life is to be grateful, to be great, and to be full. So I will see you guys inside of the 5-day holiday self-care challenge Facebook group. Bye.